Last night, you slept with your door locked, maybe a fan on, maybe your phone charging next to you. Comfortable, safe. But 300,000 years ago, that night looked nothing like yours. No walls, no lock, just darkness, and something out there that could smell you before you even heard it. No emergency number, no doctor, and you couldn't run. Because running blind meant running into something worse. Your ancestors were not the strongest, not the fastest, not the deadliest. By every measure, they were prey. And yet, you are here, which means every single one of them made it through the night. The question is how? For 99% of human history, humans were on the menu. That is not dramatic. That is the fossil record. Scientists have found ancient human skulls with leopard claw marks on them, bones with hyena teeth, punctures. Your ancestors were not hunters who occasionally got hunted. They were prey who slowly, painfully learned how to fight back. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer groups noticed something consistent. Lions, leopards, hyenas, all of them avoided groups. A single human alone was easy prey, but a group of even 8 to 10 humans changed the equation completely. Predators didn't attack. They waited, they watched, and then they moved on. But here is the part nobody talks about. Researcher Hans Kruk, whose 1972 field study across the Serengeti and Ngorongoro crater documented that large predators consistently targeted isolated individuals, any species, any size. His data showed group living was the single most reliable predictor of survival across every species he observed. Separation was the weakness. The Hadza of Tanzania are one of the last groups on Earth still living close to the original human pattern. Researchers who spent months embedded in their camps documented something that never made it into textbooks. When a Hadza hunter did not return by sundown, the entire camp mobilized. Not tomorrow, not in the morning, that night. Because they understood something instinctively that took modern humans centuries to relearn. Darkness does not wait, and neither did they. They did not have a protocol. They did not have a manual. They had 300,000 years of knowing exactly what the night does to a person alone. The same pattern shows up everywhere. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner of the University of Utah, who began fieldwork with the Kung San of northwest Botswana in 1974, documented that nighttime fires were the central organizing force of camp life, the place where the group held itself together after dark. Remove the fire, and the group dissolved. Different continent, different people, same result. Now some of you are thinking, groups got attacked too. Fair point, they did. But the predator that hunted alone had one target. The group that slept together had 10 pairs of ears. The math was never equal, and every predator in the Serengeti knew it. Your ancestors learned this not from observation. They learned it from loss. Every person who wandered alone didn't come back, and the ones who stayed together did. Picture this. It is the middle of the night. The fire is low, and somewhere in that camp, one pair of eyes is open. Not randomly, not by accident. Anthropologists studying the Hadza in Tanzania found that throughout any given night, different people naturally woke at different times. No rule, no schedule, just an instinct so deep it had no name. The person who woke did not check a phone, did not pour a glass of water and go back to bed. They added wood to the fire first, always. Because a fire that dropped below a certain point was not just cold, it was an invitation. Then they listened, not dramatically, not with fear. The way you check a room when you walk in, automatically without thinking, wind direction, animal sounds. What was there that shouldn't be? What was missing that should be? Here's the key. A camp that had gone quiet too suddenly was a camp that had a reason to be quiet. Silence was not peace, it was a signal. And they knew the difference. The group never went fully dark, never fully unaware. Someone was always watching, always listening, because they had learned, through generations of loss, that the night never stopped, and neither could they. Then comfort arrived, slowly. So slowly nobody noticed what it was costing. It started roughly 10,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent, modern-day Iraq and Syria. Humans began planting seeds, staying in one place, building permanent walls for the first time in 300,000 years. And within a few generations, the group shrank, not dramatically, not all at once, just quietly, slowly, from 50 people who knew every sound of the night, to one family behind one wall who knew nothing outside it. The fire that had never been allowed to go out for 300,000 years finally went out, because there was a wall now, and a wall felt safer. By 4,000 years ago, cities existed. Babylon, Memphis. Thousands of people in one place. None of them yours, none of them known. None of them watching. The tight circle of known faces that had kept your ancestors alive every single night for 300,000 years, dissolved into crowds of strangers. You could disappear in a city, and nobody would notice until morning. For most of human history, that was a death sentence. Now it was just Tuesday. By the Middle Ages, European towns were installing curfews. Bells that rang at night telling everyone to go inside. Lock the door, stay separate. What had once been the most dangerous thing a human could do, be alone in the dark, had become the expected default. Solitude had been rebranded. They called it privacy. They called it civilization. Then, in 1879, Thomas Edison commercialized the electric light bulb. And within one generation, the night as humans had known it for 300,000 years was gone. No more fire to tend. No more shifts, no more someone always watching, just a switch, and silence, and the slow, creeping feeling that something was missing, but nobody could name what. Each step felt like progress. Each step made the old instincts a little more unnecessary, a little more invisible, until one day, nobody remembered why humans used to sleep in shifts. Nobody remembered why fire was never allowed to go out. Nobody remembered what the dark used to cost. The knowledge didn't disappear overnight. It just became unnecessary, generation by generation, until it was gone entirely. Your ancestors knew exactly who was awake at 3 a.m. They knew because someone had to be. Today you wake at 3 a.m. and stare at the ceiling alone. You call it insomnia. You call it anxiety. You call it stress. But look at the numbers. In 2023, the American Surgeon General declared loneliness a public health epidemic, not a feeling, an epidemic. Over 50% of Americans report feeling measurably alone on a regular basis. In the UK, the problem was so severe they appointed a minister for loneliness in 2018, a government position for loneliness. Your ancestors had 20 people around them, always, without exception, without question. And here is what nobody connects. The same countries with the highest rates of loneliness have the highest rates of sleep disorders. The same people who report feeling disconnected report waking at 3 a.m. and being unable to go back to sleep. This is not coincidence. This is biology. Your body at 3 a.m. is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was built to do, scanning for the group, checking the perimeter, listening for the fire. The instinct never left. It just has nowhere to go anymore. Because the group is gone, the fire is gone, and all that is left is you, awake in the dark, wondering why you can't sleep. Your ancestors didn't survive because they were stronger. They survived because they never let each other go. We forgot that, and we call the feeling that followed progress. Where in the world are you watching this from? Because we all came from the same fire, and we all forgot the same things.